We're standing at the north end of Kootenay Lake, currently in the community of Lardo, and to the north of us, Meadow Creek, the Lardo Valley, and across the lake, the communities of Argenta and Johnson's Landing. My name's Daniel Klein. I'm the incident commander of the Argenta Creek Wildfire that started on July 17th, and I've been here for the last 2 weeks managing this incident and the personnel that are attached to it. On July 17th, we had a number of fire starts at the north end of Kootenay Lake. On July 17th, we had some instability move into the region and some convective building and storms. A lot of lightning came out of that instability and convection and started about 140 fires in the Southeast Fire Center. Of that 140 fires, 27 of those were at the north end of Kootenay Lake in this area that we're standing. But when we have the magnitude of starts that we received on July 17th, we are looking for fires that have the potential to impact communities' life and property first. There were several in this region that ended up being a high priority for that reason. One of them being Argenta Creek, one of them being Lower Meadow Mountain, and some of the targets that were along Hauser Ridge and Glacier. The Argenta Creek wildfire was one of those. When we discovered it started on July 17th, but when we evaluate and come up with a management strategy on July 18th, it was 20 hectares at that time, and we started moving long-term resources into place to start managing this incident, knowing that it was going to turn into a prolonged effort. On the night of July 24th, as we were constructing machine lines above the community, we had a major wind event combined with really dry, hot conditions in the overnight period, and that led to some extreme fire behavior and fire growth. Due to the fire behavior that evening, on July 25th, the fire moved from being about 450 hectares in size to more or less 14,000 hectares. And the Argenta Creek wildfire merged with the Lavina wildfire and some of the wildfires that were burning on the Glacier Ridge. All of those came and combined into one wildfire. Fortunately, we've been able to keep the wildfire above the community of Argenta. From the south, Argenta Creek, all the way to the north end of the community, we do have that equipment line secured. Crews are currently in there establishing a black line and mopping up to ensure that we have no further spread down towards the community. And then on the south side of the incident, there is some fire that's gotten across the Avi Pass at the top side of Mount Willett at high elevation at about 5,000 feet. So not close to the community at this time, but it has at upper elevations. It's kind of starting to cross Mount Willett, and we're looking at strategies to kind of slow down the growth. There isn't any safe options at this point to put crews into those upper elevation spots. So we're working with aviation and coming up with a long-term plan on how we're going to deal with the fire that's up on Mount Willett. Currently, it's not a threat to any communities, and we're actively developing strategies for how we're going to manage that flank of the incident. We continue and will continue to have those equipment, aviation resources, and personnel on site supporting the incident, and we've also had support from the community. The plan for the next 2-week period, so we really want to make sure that we control or contain the fire that's burning on the north end of the community from Upper Argenta to Hamel Creek. We're doing that with ground crews and the support of aviation. Unfortunately, really steep, challenging terrain in that lower Hamel Canyon, so we're doing our best just to check that with aviation and make sure that spread is really slowed down. Right now, there's not a huge amount of activity in that canyon feature, but we're continuing to monitor and check that with aviation. Over the long term, once we have containment and some security around the community, we will be looking at how to kind of manage fire to the south. understanding that there is properties lower in Bombers Creek and south to Argenta and Birchdale, or sorry, south to Johnson's Landing and Birchdale. We're not turning an eye away from that. We recognize that, but where the fire currently is up on Mount Willett, we just don't have the ability to access that and manage those with crews effectively. So we're looking at a kind of modified strategy there. Long term, our main priority again is life and property and securing any areas of the fire that we feel like may impact properties long term or have the potential to. So Argenta is a priority. The homes that are on the flats at the bottom of Hamel Creek, some of these isolated properties up the Glacier FSR, and same with the properties on Duncan Island. We will continue to monitor and put structure protection crews and wildfire resources into those areas.